believe that a new Nigeria is possible. For that new Nigeria to be realized, the number one thing we need is unity. It is the foundation on which nations are built. Nigeria cannot advance while fragmented by ethnic, religious, regional, narrow political divides. With a collective purpose. A united Nigeria is indispensable, and that is the foundation on which we must grow. Number two is the records today. In the year 2020, Nigeria was number 8 on the most impacted terrorist country in the world. By 2024, we are number 6. It's a country that few years ago was reputed as one of the biggest, where our men have fought in different and have helped to keep peace, help to restore order in many countries, from Rwanda to Cambodia to India, Liberia, with all this. And our army are recognized that every time Nigeria commanded the entire UN today, our security thrive. Farmers can no longer go to farm and nobody is safe. We must take that decisively. And I'll end it by saying that we have people in this who have been meaning work. And I will conclude by mentioning this again on our strategy. Number 3 is health care. Nations are measured by health care. Today, Nigerian life expectancy is 54 years. The lowest in the world. And we are number 1. And that is the foundation of health care. Only 10 or 20% of our 30,000 primary health care, that is unacceptable. Our health insurance scheme is below 10% when compared with comparable countries like Indonesia, that is 80%. And it is not time to lament about what we're going through, but what we are going to do. Our budget today is one of health budget today It's one of the least. The government that the party will be supreme. That the NDC government in 4 years, we will ensure that our insurance that is below the.
Did you know that you can have permanent teeth in just 24 hours? That's right. Only 24 hours and you're backed by over 20,000 5-star Google reviews and winners of the 2024 Dental Implant Restoration Company of the Year. Nuvi is helping people regain their smiles and change their lives. And the best part, it all happens in only 24 hours. Take the
because we need it. And I want you to note everything we are promising you. Because who deliver? I was everything I promised, I delivered it. Healthy. Because it's important to us. We can no longer continue the way we are going. Our education
Well, guys, this is very short. Very interesting to see Mr. Peter Gregory Obi making that wonderful speech at the end of the primaries, and now he's being nominated as the presidential. Well, maybe we'll just wait and see what's going to happen next. But I think there's no doubt he's become the presidential candidate of the NDC, and we can see what actually happened during the NDC's primaries. All over the country, people trooped out en masse. People came out to just make their voices heard. It was loud. There was a loud ovation. People came out in their various numbers just to come um, support Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. And so the only thing that Nigerians can do now is to make sure that they go get their PVC, and then make sure also that their votes are counted, their voices are heard, and Nigerians are doing their best just to make sure that the country gets better. So Nigerians, we cannot afford to sit down, fold our hands, and just sit behind the burner. There are a lot of things to be done. There are a lot of things to still put in place. There are a lot of things to be worked on. The party is doing its own best. People are working behind the scene, making sure that Mr. Peter will be actually end up well. So I will encourage Nigerians, please go get your PVC, go get your voters registration card. It is very, very important and mandatory that Nigerians get their PVC. You cannot afford to sit down. You cannot afford to keep quiet. You cannot afford to sit behind while people are working. So Nigerians, please and please and please, it is no more news that Tinubu is a failure. Tinubu is a failure, and a failure he will remain. Tinubu does not mean anything good for Nigeria. Tinubu is a criminal drug baron. Tinubu is a certificate forger. Tinubu is an age falsifier. So Nigerians, please, anywhere you are, don't keep quiet, don't keep silent, keep speaking, keep talking, because your voice is going very, very far. Before we actually call it a day today, probably just show some few videos about the NDC primaries and how it actually turned out. But Nigerians, there is still hope. I mean, it's so sad that you see the people from Southwest, where I came from, still went ahead to celebrate the Ogidioba just some few days ago. I think, as a matter of fact, maybe yesterday or day before yesterday. You have children, about 46 of them, in the den of the kidnappers. And you still see these people went ahead to celebrate the Ogidioba. And the question I ask is this truly Ogidioba or Ojude Ika? Ika means wickedness, because Ogidioba means the maybe the junction of the king, maybe the place of power, the place of throne of the king. But I think it should be called Ojudeika, that is the junction of the throne of the wicked ones, because there is no country where you have 46 children in the den of the kidnappers, one person's head already beheaded, and now the kidnappers even said that they already picked one person that may also be killed in the next few days if ransom are not paid. And you still see people went ahead and celebrate the Ojudioba. And so you ask yourself, are we truly humane? Do we truly know what we are doing? Are we truly people of empathy and compassion? Do we truly care for our people? I mean, I saw various videos where people are crying, and you see parents, you see teachers crying. These are people that are in the walls of education, teaching people. I mean, the president that you have today, well, if he says he went to school, he may have gone through school and then the teacher taught him. And today is the president, even though I don't know how he became the president, a criminal certificate forger. someone that forfeited $460,000 age falsifier. His first daughter is about 60 something years old, and he's 70. I mean, that tells you who Tinubu is. Tinubu is an hardened criminal. And that's why these people, I mean, they don't care. 46 children. I mean, the most painful one is where you see these terrorists. They have burning keg, jerry can in their hands with fire, and they put that fire on the body of these children. It is so sad and evil. I mean, I have a 7-year-old son, a 4-year-old daughter that will turn 5 soon, and I can't imagine myself go through that pain and horror. And these people still went ahead and celebrate Ojude Oba. You still went ahead and celebrate Ojude Eka. You people are evil. And so you see the people that came out yesterday all over the country for NDC's primaries. The people are tired of Tinubu. Tinubu is a criminal. Tinubu should not be allowed to come back again. Never. Never should he come back. I mean, the first place, I don't support him. I was born and raised in Lagos State. I'm a Yoruba boy. Born and raised, and I cherish my culture. I admire my heritage. But even up until now, as we speak, Rashid Ladoja, the Oluban of Ibadan, he has not said anything up until now. Rashid Ladoja has not said anything up until now. The Oluban of Ibadan, the former governor of Oyo State, he has not said anything. He has not said anything. Rashid Ladoja, you have not said anything up until now. You have not said anything. Is this how a country is being run? Is this how a country is run? Is this how a country is run? You guys are evil. You guys are evil. You guys are evil. Rashid Ladoja, the former governor of Oyo State, you have not said anything about this kidnap up until now. Where are you? The Oluban of Ibadan, where are you? All of a sudden, you guys have gone quiet. You guys have gone silent, and people are dying in their numbers. Nigerians are being killed by these kidnappers. Nigerians are being killed. Little children in their numbers are being killed. Is this how a country is built? Is this how a country is built? Nigerians, we must arise and speak. We must arise and make our voices heard. We cannot afford to keep quiet. We cannot afford to keep silent. I am calling on the Yorubas. I am calling on our people. We cannot allow these people to continue. We cannot allow this evil to fester. These guys don't mean well for us. These guys don't mean us anything good. They don't wish us anything good. And that's why you must not keep quiet. You must not keep silent. We must keep speaking. I am calling on the Oluban of Ibadan, Oba Rashid Ladoja. Where are you? Where are you, Oluban of Ibadan? Your people are being kidnapped. Your people are being killed. Little children being killed. Where are you, Rashid Ladoja, Oluban of Ibadan, former governor of Oyo State? Where are you? Where are you? Nothing is being said. Nothing is being said. Your own son, at least, is a graduate. You have a son that is a graduate. You have children. You have grandchildren. And up until now, you are not saying anything. You have not said anything. Oba Rashidi Ladoja, Oluban of Ibadan. Have you all of a sudden just checked out of Oyo State? Because it bothers me that this is happening in our state. I'm from Oyo State. My uncle is, my grandfather is a ballet in Oyo State. And up until now, you are not saying anything. My grandfather of late memory, wonderful man. Wonderful man. Yoruba, they call such men Akikonju. That's what they call them. Wonderful man. My father is still alive, doing great. My uncle is a prominent voice in Oyo State. What are you guys saying? You guys come out and speak. Speak. Your people are dying. They are killing children. Man, I saw a picture again today. A little child tied to it. Man, How long are we going to allow this to continue? Sheyi Makinde, the governor for your state, is saying that they bought surveillance plane, and those planes will not be ready until June. Your people are being killed, your people are being destroyed, and Sheyi Makinde, all you are now saying is that the plane that you bought will not be ready until June. And now I even saw that APN has nominated Sheyi Makinde, the failed governor, as their own candidate for presidential race for the next election. On what ground are you guys doing this? Your people are dying and you are still being nominated. You are not different from Adelabu, Sheyi Makinde. You are not different. There's no difference between you and Adelabu, Sheyi Makinde. You are not different from Adelabu. Adelabu failed woefully as the minister of power. You have failed gallantly. You failed decoratedly. You failed immensely as the governor for your state. You should never have happened to your state. You should never have happened to your state. You are a failure. You are a failure. You said you bought surveillance plane to surveil. What is the purpose of a surveillance plane when it cannot fire attack for an attack on the terrorist? In Burkina Faso, we saw what they were doing, what they did in Burkina Faso. They have drones that were chasing out this criminal from their hideout in the forest. We have drones. They have drones in Burkina Faso that was chasing out the criminals from their forest in their hideout. And now you see this governor, this decorated failure, telling Nigerians that the planes that they bought from China, over $9 billion, if I'm correct with the amount. If I'm correct, they went ahead and bought surveillance plane for $9 billion, and those planes will not be ready until next month. Until they finish buying your people. Until they finish buying your people, that's when the plane will be ready. These guys are evil. We had several graduations in the United States. Some last week, some are still ongoing. You see these criminals, they travel here to come and celebrate their children that graduated from schools over here in the US. These guys are evil. These guys are criminals. Nigerians, I love the way you came out for my principal, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. You all came out en masse for Mr. Peter Obi. Please, Nigerians, the only way to get this going, the only way to make sure that we achieve this is to make sure that Mr. Peter Gregory Obi will ensure that he becomes the next president of Nigeria. Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, we must ensure that he becomes the next president of Nigeria. He has just gave a speech. He has just spoken at the NDC primaries. So Nigerians, let's not stop talking. Let's not stop speaking. The only viable option that we have today, is no other person than His Excellency, the only one man that we have that we can leverage on to rescue our country, the only person that we can leverage on now, the only person that we can depend on now, the only person that we can look up to now is no other person than Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. These guys are failures. The likes of Sheyi Makinde, the likes of Tinubu, the likes of Gbajabiamila, the likes of Wike, the likes of Bayo Onanuga, the authentic, evil, and coward tribalistic elements that you can ever imagine in the history of Yoruba race is Bayo Onanuga. That's the only man that told the Igbos, our fellow Igbos, that they should not come out Mama Chukudi, if you will not vote for APC, don't come out. And we saw what they did in the last election. A lady almost lost her eyes. A lady almost lost her eyes. Only God saved that lady. But you know what I love about that lady? She still went out there and cast her vote for her principal because she so much believed in the person of Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. That lady went out, she still went ahead and cast her vote for Mr. Peter Obi, despite the fact that her face, she almost lost her face. She went out and voted for her principal. She went out and make sure that Mr. Peter Obi becomes our president. So Nigerians, please, I beg you, the only viable option that we have today, is no other person than Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. So I beg you, Nigerians, please and please, go get your PVC, go get your voter's card. That is the only way that we can make a change. That is the only way that we can change these criminal elements, chase them out. Please, the only viable option, the only way to rescue our country is to make sure that Mr. Peter Gregory, this man and his vice, becomes the next president of the country. And breaking news, I think Arsenal just lost the Champions League. In case you're an Arsenal fan, they just lost the Champions League, even though at some point I wanted them to win. So Nigerians, please, Mr. Peter Obi is the only viable option. And I think with the primaries, you can now see when Mr. Peter Obi tells you that, oh, I only want the process to be free and fair. He left Labour Party because he told Nigerians that they set fire in Labour Party thinking that the fire will burn him. And before they knew it, he has gone, he escaped. They went to NDC. They also went with different kind of court cases. They were thinking they can set the house on fire. Before you know it, Mr. Peter Obi has left. Now look at where he is today. He's now in NDC. All of a sudden, I just pray. I pray for myself and I pray for you that's listening to me, that God Almighty will give you glory. That anything that you touch becomes gold. Mr. Peter Obi has a wonderful glory. Anything that Mr. Peter Gregory Obi touches becomes gold. Labour Party is a case study. Peter Obi bought Labour Party from nowhere, and Labour Party, Abure today, from what I heard from Mr. Common Sense, or I think somebody, Abure today is a billionaire. Allegedly, Abure is a billionaire because of what Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. Abure stole, did all of the shenanigans he wants to do, and today you can see who he is today. And when Peter Obi left Labour Party went. As a matter of fact, the Labour Party is giving free nomination form to people. You see how terrible that is. Labour Party is giving free form to people, to candidates. All because what? Mr. Peter Obi left. It is like the story of Eli. That as soon as they lost that child, they said, Ichabod, the glory has departed. The glory has departed. May God give you a wonderful glory. May God give me a wonderful glory that whatever you touches becomes a gold. Mr. Peter Obi has a glory that whatever Peter Gregory Obi touches, it becomes a gold. And so I am not regretting the fact that I support Mr. Peter Obi. I still support him. I was born and raised in Lagos State. My name is Oluwatosin. I'm a Yoruba boy. And today I'm still behind Mr. Peter Obi. Still behind him, following him. So Nigerians, it is very, very sure that this man just wanted a clean and a clear process. Look at, for example, Peter for Nigeria. In his own region, in the primaries yesterday, Peter Aka, people just lined behind him. They just lined behind him and they were counting the votes. They count the vote. The vote were counted. And Peter Aka became the aspirant. He won his own primaries. And you can see in several places like that, from the east to the south to the west, you can even the north. In Kwankwaso's place in Kano, you see people that came out. Mr. Peter Obi is a voice. Mr. Peter Obi is a man. Mr. Peter Obi is a legend. Peter Obi is a legend that Nigerian youth should emulate. Instead of you following these criminals, following these wicked people like this decorated failure of your state. It's so sad that I'm from your state. Following men like this, follow someone that has a prospect, a man that has a future. Follow him. Follow Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. This is a character to follow. Rabbi Kwankwaso, I mean, we know what the Kwankwasia movement is doing in Kano State for the less privileged. Mr. Peter Obi will tell you, I don't just give money. Now the reason why I think there's one reverend father that is annoyed with Mr. Peter Obi, all because he will not give him money. And Peter Obi says, go and show me projects. Father, go and show me projects, and I will give you money. The father cannot go and show Mr. Peter Obi any projects. And because of that, today, that man is saying that Peter Obi will not become president. But I know that man, that father, like they call them, is in Nigeria. He saw the primaries yesterday. Whether you like it or not, well, Peter Obi, if that's your wish, I will not become president. How is your life better? How is your life better? Are you buying rice cheaper? Are you buying fuel cheaper? Everywhere in the country, Nigerians, Tinubu is a failure. Tinubu is a failure. It should never be allowed. Tinubu is a failure. Tinubu is a criminal. He's a failure. We should never allow him. Now you can hear pastors, you can hear imams, people supporting him. They cannot come out. They cannot come out. They've all gone hiding. Nigerians, please, I beg you, get your PVC, get your voters card. That is all that you need for us to make sure we change the system. The youth are waking up all over the world. People are waking up. Let's just see some videos of the NDC primaries. Let's see some videos of the NDC primaries, and then we'll
guidelines. Only card carrying members. Remember, only card carrying members will be allowed to vote. Okay? And we're supposed to vote peacefully. Peacefully, please, in order. Right? Any disruption that you see, please report it. Thank God a number of you have your phones. We report it and we send it both to the state chapter and then the national leadership of the NDC. Please, we are a different party. We're not doing what APC are doing by counting 1, 10, 100. No. We are counting one by one. Okay? And this is the same instruction that is going to the other 4 local government areas in Oro Nation.
It's nice that he's telling them that they must show proof that they are members of NDC. It is there in the Electoral Act that for anyone to qualify to vote in any party primaries, the person must be a card-carrying member of the party. So the only way they can know and verify.
Sorry guys, let me just pause that here. I think one statement that young man made that is very, very important is the fact that we must do things differently. Now, look at that. Look at this brother, for example. Mr. Peter Obi is not there to tell him what to do or not what to do or what not to do. But on his own, he knows that the process must be free and fair. And he said, we cannot do things like other political parties like APC. That is the way that we have bright Nigerians all over the world. We have bright minds. If we choose to do the right thing, we can do the right thing. Look at this man, for example. Hear what he said. Let's watch some more.
That the person is truly their member is by looking inside the party register. Once that person is accredited, the person can vote. In this location in Imo State, they didn't even need to count the members. And looking at everything, it seems that the guy was the sole candidate in this area in Imo State.
The powers bestowed on me as the returning officer and the LGA chairman of NDC. Those That for Ama Longinus. Say aye. Against Jenny. Therefore, the eye has it.
Another thing that many people are asking is, how did NDC have this number of members already? They are still a new party, literally about 6 months old, but look at the massive number of people that are already in the party. This is P2B's wave and also Rabiu Kwankwaso's wave in action. And another thing they are doing is that they are fielding very strong candidates. Candidates that can stand on their own. Candidates that have won elections in the past without someone like P2B or Rabiu Kwankwaso. So P2B and Rabiu Kwankwaso must have learned their lessons from 2023. They are fielding very strong candidates, people who have the wherewithal and can provide the logistics to win an election without needing a principal like P2B or Rabiu Kwankwaso. This is what they lacked in 2023. Many places they won in 2023, there was no one to defend the votes. There were no party agents. There were no strong candidates. But this time around, they are fielding very strong candidates. Someone like this senator from Zamfara State. The man has been in the Senate already and he has now clinched the governorship ticket in Zamfara State. Another one is Omar Gege in Delta State. He has been a senator. He didn't need someone like P2B to win that senatorial election. Now he's a member of NDC. So these are strong people that can on their own hold their ground without being told or without people asking them unreasonable questions. How are they going to protect their votes? These people are on ground. They understand politics. Many of them are career politicians. So it will be a match made in heaven if they have someone like P2B as the presidential candidate. They will do their best to make sure results are not stolen, that elections in their domain are not rigged. Now to Kano State, Rabiu Kwankwaso posted this himself on his verified X handle that they have now agreed on consensus candidates for different positions in Kano State. Gwazo on the right is the former deputy governor of Kano State to Abba Yusuf, the current governor. He resigned his position after the governor defected to APC. So he has now been chosen as the governorship candidate in Kano State. The man on the left, Gawuna, who defected from APC to NDC, you remember he contested under APC for the governorship in 2023. They went all the way to the Supreme Court, but eventually Abba Yusuf defeated him at the Supreme Court. So he is going to be the candidate of the NDC in Kano Central Senatorial District. So in his political wisdom, Rabiu Kwankwaso has made a great choice. Remember that this same Kano Central is where Shekarau, the former governor of Kano State, is contesting for Senate under the APC. And bearing in mind that both elections, that's National Assembly elections and presidential election, are holding the same day. So it will be a serious battle in this Kano Central. And Gawuna, being a former governorship candidate, also has his structures in not just the entire Kano State, but also in Kano Central. And with Atiku Abubakar being on the ballot, there's no doubt that Kano will be very hot in 2027. A three-horse race involving Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar, and Peter Obi. All these candidates would at least get a slice of Kano. The question is, who is going to win Kano in 2027? With Kwankwaso now with Peter Obi, it's obvious that the Kwankwasias will have their day on election day. But let's save that for January 2027. Looking at many videos from the NDC nationwide primaries, you can see that the elections were mostly peaceful, but it can never go without rancor. Let's hear some of the complaints by the candidates.
This is the situation report, and also one local government here in Enugu State. Here we had the primary election of NDC, Nigeria Democratic Congress. I won the election in primary election of Federal House of Rep in also one local government area, and also won in Iwetiti. Yes. Then when the party official is about to write the result, now Professor Kubwe ran away with the result. He ran away with the result. What are we saying? What are we saying? We no go green. We no go green. We no go green. We no go green. We now.
lekwa ga na-eche
Nigerians, if we can come out like this on election day and then everybody stand on their polling units, stand at your polling location where you vote, stay there until the election result is counted and results declared, sent to RF. From there, you also went to the your ward collection center, local government collection center, to the state, to the federal. Like what they did in Kano with Kwankwasia movement. I don't think this guy will rig the election. I mean, this is when they said Tinubu has 11 million votes for 11 million votes or 10 million votes for the primaries. Now you can, I mean, this is crowd. You can see this. See, Nigerians, these guys are already, APC is already in a panic mode. And now you ask yourself, Atiku and Amechi, how are they different from APC? Ask yourself that question. Because their intention was to allegedly dollarize the primaries of ADC and then box Mr. Peter Gregory Obi to a corner. But Mr. Peter Obi is just a very, very smart man. And I especially want to thank Senator Victor Ume. This guy has been with Mr. Peter Gregory Obi from Abga. They are from the same constituency in Anambra State. And that's why it's also important to have good men around you. May God give you and I good men that will surround us as we embark on our journey in life. Victor Ome, he has left Abga with Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. He left Labour with Mr. Peter Obi. He left ADC with Mr. Peter Obi. Now in NDC. Before they went to NDC, Victor Ome said, I went to NDC to go and do the legwork. He went to do the legwork before Mr. Peter Obi left ADC. Victor Ome said, I went to check. There are no court cases. There are no internal rancor. I mean, there can be little skirmishes here and there. But he said the course was clear. And he said, see, okay, let's go. this man, I think, can stick his neck for Peter Gregory Obi. In one of his videos, he said, what people told me about Peter Obi is the fact that he doesn't give money. And he said, I asked Mr. Peter Obi, is it true that your only offense that you don't give money? He said, well, that's your opinion. I don't just give money. I give money for just cause. Would that also be our own example today? Because what people really want to give is, oh, they have this one today, they want money. They have that one tomorrow, they turn it to like ATM. But Peter Obi said, I don't just give money. I don't just give money for no just cause. I give money for the right cause. And even with that, Mr. Senator, gallant, decorated Senator Victor Ume is still supporting Mr. Peter Obi. You can compare him to the father that said that because Mr. Peter Obi did not give him money, he will not win the presidential race. The question is, that's a pastor. That's someone that leads a church that said that to Mr. Peter Obi. And Mr. Peter Obi said, show me project. If you show me project, I will give you money. Let me see the church project. When you show me the project, I will give you the money. Is that too much? And because of that, up until now, you are still angry with your fellow brother. Fellow brother as a Kingsman, and then fellow brother as a Christian. What evil? What evil? So Nigerians, I pray for you that one, your glory will not go dim. My glory will not go dim. When you need men, as you walk the journey of your life, God will send you good men, because Senator Victor Ume is a very good man. Let's listen some more.
Press is been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 18, 19, 20.
I know what the APC are waiting to hear is that she will jump from 10 to 200. You can never see that one here. You will never ever see it here. Because of what? The effect of Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. Just the effect of Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. That's why you will not see that you jump from 20 to 30, and then from 30 to 200, and then from 200 to 1,000, and then from 1,000 to 500,000. You will never see that here. Man, Peter Obi is just, Lord, please give me glory and give me the power to stand right. And I think after the election in 2023, Peter Obi, he went to Arise. And when they said the pastor that, they said, well, that's how God wants it. He said, no, that's not how God wants it. Okay, now, can you say 46 children kidnapped in your state, that's how God wants it? No. It's just that Shea Makinde is a failure. Tinubu is a decorated failure. These guys are evil. Let's see some other videos. Unless you can see that everybody is counted. Everybody is counted. And there is no jumping from 100 to 300 to 500 to 1 million. No, you can never see that here. All because of what Peter Gregory will be. Man, Peter Gregory will be. He's the right man to follow. Whether you are Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Shekiri, Edo, Idoma, Igala, Shekiri, whoever you are, Peter Gregory will be the right man to follow. When they tell that he's afraid of primaries, you can see it now. You can see it. There are other videos.
The motion that I'm seeing across social media from the NDC primaries, organic motion. This one is not Ali Baba and his 34 thieves primaries that we saw last week. See motion, see Nigeria across the country. Nigerians in their millions. This is the kind of primaries that if you come out and say that the candidate won 50 million, people will not even argue. See people outside. See people outside. It just signifies one thing, that Tinubu's time is up. Nigerians are genuinely tired. Nigerians are genuinely tired of this disaster in Aso Rock. This calamity that has befallen us for the past 3 years. Nigerians are genuinely tired. That a party that is less than, that a party that Tinubu just joined in less than 2 months, bring out all this motion. Nigerians are genuinely tired. Tinubu is time to pack your load and go. And it's important we keep saying this, because especially for Nigerians that are unassuming of what's happening, people that are worried, the target or the slogan for the next election is rig and buy 2027. There's no room to rig the next elections. If you don't say our vote to be counted, we will count you inside. That is the mindset Nigerians have to start imbibing now. So please spread the word. Nigerians have already shown that no, Tinubu, your time is up. Your time is up. You have created a whole lot of hardship. You lack empathy as a human being. You lack compassion as to be a leader. You lack the basic requirements to lead a people as diverse as our country. They ask you about the kids that are being kidnapped in Oyo State, and you're saying they're asking you A, you're answering Z. I don't want to believe that you don't understand what you asked. I totally understand or believe that it is actually in your nature as a deceptive human being to deceive Nigerians, because that's what you did prior to 2022 elections. You were going about the Bala blue, Bulaba, you were licking mic and everything, trying to make Nigerians feel like they did not know what you were doing. The moment you stole your way into power, you showed us your real character. You started speaking coherently. Now election is coming again. You want to repeat that same trick. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You cannot fool us again. That's your trick of they don't understand what they're saying. You're incoherent. You are coherent. You know what you're doing. You're just a wicked human being that should not be holding the leadership authority in our country. You lack the empathy to lead people. It is a shame where you're brought us to, but it's all good. We have seen the best of you. And this is for Nigerians that are still wondering, because they're trying to sell you a dream that what he could not do in his first tenure, he would do it in his second tenure. I want you to understand that never in the history of any government had it been heard that a candidate performed better in his second term. Never had it been heard. Probably in few occasions you will hear that a candidate performed better in his second term than in his first term. And even the performance that you will see, you would have seen visible steps in the first term to show that this candidate actually has things to fulfill in his second term. But Tinubu has shown, he's actually showing us his best currently right now. We are seeing the very best of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I want to just understand this, that what we are witnessing right now is actually the very best of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So if you think things are bad now, that he's actually showing us his best. Imagine when he knows that he has finished, he has probably found his way back in power. He now has to consolidate, and imagine the amount of borrowings he will do, the amount of stealing that will happen, the amount of lack of empathy that these are like the unalive people in Plateau State, and he even flew to the airport and spent 10 minutes and said, you people don't have light, so I have to go. They will unalive half of Nigeria, and he will not care, because he doesn't have it in him to care. He has never shown to be an empathetic leader all his life. He's a man that deals with the elites. That is who he is. So it's important Nigerians understand that he's offering us his very best right now. There is nothing extra to Bola Ahmed Tinubu that we are going to see, that I have not seen already. Except we are ready for hardship at the highest proportion ever, which me I'm not ready for. I have people that are complaining every single. Nigeria is a mess, and we have to fix it. And it's good enough to see that there are people standing up to say enough is enough. Big shout out to the NDC party. Big shout out to all those that contested and came out victorious, of which I have a couple of friends that are in it. Hopefully, this is the birth of a new Nigeria that is possible.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20.
Don't go anywhere when I stand.
34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46,
Moko na enter the line, oh. Enter the line now.
If you like the wait for 1, 2, 3, 700, you know day. You know day. Wait, how old is the NDC? Okay, I know he's been registered since 2017, but Peter Obisha. See, let's take a moment. See, we need to declare Peter Obi's day in this country. That guy, grace, oil, influence, genuine, organic influence. Well done to Rabbi Musa Kwakwaso and what he brings to the romance or to the bromance or to the marriage or to the ticket. Well done to him. But you see this man, Peter B. No. See, Peter, no, everybody keeps hyping the wicked, cruel, crafty politics of Jagaban. But you see, when you talk about influential politicking, the Peter B effect is not just a wave. It's not a storm. It's not an earthquake. It's not a eruption. There's something else. It's beyond words. I can't tell. I swear to God, I swear. Sometimes I look at this man and say, what are you saying? What? You know, sometimes I've had to play back and I say, okay, quite frankly, clearly different from the pack. But what exactly is he saying that is so exceptional? Nothing. Just a man. You see, Nigerians are looking for that person. And this is something to inspire all of us. No matter what you do, don't follow the bandwagon. Don't follow the bandwagon. Look at Rivers. State that he doesn't own. I've not seen a video from Manabra yet too. I've seen Ogoja because my brother Randy Peters. By the way, please, whatever you do, if you are from Edo Central, see, Reverend Leo Lumartins needs to be in the State House of Assembly. I'm rooting and supporting him big time. He's played his part. He's been strong advocate and activist of qualitative rights for young people, for students and all of that. So I'm hoping, I'm going to do everything. He's one person that I'm ready to put in my financial support in ensuring that he gets to the State House of Assembly. I believe in him. I've spoken with Reverend Lumartins on a very close point, and I know that this man knows what governance is all about. So if you have a chance, support Reverend Lumartins. I'm saying that same for Randy Peters and a lot of people everywhere. I've seen a lot of, I'm going to take our time. By the grace of God, I hope that I'll be able to take our time. I want to open a portal where people who have genuine interest to contesting for offices, right? And not just NDC anyway. If you are in other parties, of course, shouldn't be the enemy's camp. I'm looking at a few persons in the APCs that say, okay, you're not a bad person. I wish you well. But we need to rally around and give support to everybody. But most importantly, at this point, Peter Abi should somebody saying a 45 million votes. Peter Abi we primary. Because no. This is exceptional. I know that there'll be pockets of a lot of nonsense here, pocket of there, but like I said, 2 reasons. This is too much. How do you want to even manage this situation? That's a lot for a party that is just trying to stand. That was one. Then 2, We don't own this party. And I've said that repeatedly. I'm not saying that to make excuses for them. The NDC is like every other party in Nigeria. The only advantage we have now is that Peter Obi moved in, and most likely the NDC will start to shave or cut down some of their excesses and excess baggages. So permit some of these improprieties here and there. We are going to see a lot of these containers here and there. And I understand it's okay. I hope that we're able to learn from this. I think that post 2027, the Nigerian youth, even if Peter Obi, by the grace of God, Peter Obi be elected president, we must run our own party. I've said that privately and publicly. The Nigerian youth of like minds, people that want to re-engineer the change, that the actual change, not the Buhari and Tinubu fake change, right? We must register our own party, lay down the values and principles, inject into it, and allow for all that strong valued and principles young person to pick offices. Because in all of these parties, I could tell that a lot of nonsense will still happen. And you can't blame them too much. These are regular politicians. Now they've seen opportunity. The same thing that happened to the Labour Party and Julius Abure. Abure printed obituary paper so that he can substitute somebody already on INEC database to have won primaries from the Labour Party. That's how barbaric he went. He went to court, he went to secure criminal allegations, everything. And he's become a multi-billionaire in just one election cycle. So that is an advantage for a lot of these guys. So, but we must now begin to look into working into our own party, build the kind of foundation we want for it so that we can continue to consolidate on whatever achievement we will get in 2027. Well done again to everybody that has that took part. I'm happy to see all of these numbers. Oh God. ADC will know what hit them. ADC will know what hit them. We'll wait. Please, all of you should go and get your PVCs, right? It's not just enough to participate in this primary. Just imagine every polling unit to have all of these numbers on the day of election. No bagger can rig the election. Because at that point, even if your party goes to rig it national, you know will see the ticket go because you'll be buried alive there. We must register, please. The INEC portal is still open, cvro.inecnigeria.org. Go and register. For those of you who are in places that you know you cannot vote, please transfer your vote. We still have from now to August. Let's prepare. 2027. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a one-term president. Write it down.
Chairman, I don't know your name. Whether I make pay, whether I make pay wait, whether I pay me. I don't know your name. You no concern me. 2027, we need free and fair election. You service corporate when they say no go to tell us, say Carida is not working. You go collect. Just write your will, keep. You understand? But just write your will, keep. You, collection officer, you returning officer, won't go do anyhow. Your mind go day. Don't write in a will 2027 keep. Because of now, after the election, now the last day to see this life. Because the masses are very angry. You understand? But so 2077, we need a joke. You and you don't give back or right, city boy movement, you don't give back or right 5 times to conquer ballot box. Just write your will, keep. 2077, we need to come to joke. We are coming for free and fair election. You know what free and fair election? Your mind go day. Go ask the main mount. The mass is mount for you. Ask what happened to Kubana Tea prison. After I spent all the money we're in there today, it's still fair. It's not about
in power. Tinubu has failed in health. Tinubu has failed in education. Please do not mention Nel Fund, because Nel Fund simply means you're making your citizens poor and then you're telling them to borrow from you so they can pay for the education that they cannot afford, that is even poor in the first place. Tinubu has failed in agriculture. There is food insecurity. There is not even food in the first place. Tinubu has failed in defense. Defense is underfunded and our soldiers keep complaining and keep getting shot for complaining that they cannot feed properly and they don't even have the tools, the weaponry to fight banditry effectively. Then let's go to empathy. Tinubu lacks empathy so much. We can see this in many cases. He went to, in quotes, console a widow who lost her son in terrorist attacks. And what did he say? He said, there is no light at the airport. I have to go very quick. He said this in a very emotionless way. This shows that the person you keep defending is allegedly a very demonic person. Yes. I'll have to go to the fact that Tinubu is a very compromised and incompetent person. I love the fact that you follow your principle to his words. So now, please hold him to his words. He said that if I do not provide you with constant electricity, In the next elections, do not vote me. Vote me out.
I guess he's not the leader that ever promised you.
No, I came here to
I
debate.
guess he's not the leader that ever said that.
I came here to debate
Humans are meant to make mistakes.
I came here to debate Tinubu. Tinubu has failed on his promise. He has gone back on his promise. He lacks empathy. He has failed to provide power.
See, anybody that supports Tinubu wants to just open their mouth like, wow, it's nonsense that is to come like, you cannot even understand what they are saying. Humans, he is not the only one that makes a mistake. Humans also make a mistake. What do you want to say? What exactly do you want to defend?
One of those Nigerians in Canada who participated in the erection of this Tinubu signpost or billboard, or what you call it in Canada, sense far from you. Some of the most Ozuoish, Mumuish, and retrogressive mindseted Nigerians living in diaspora are those Nigerians in Canada who participated in the erection of this Tinubu billboard that says, relax, Tinubu is fixing Nigeria. You are erecting a billboard in Canada that says Tinubu is fixing Nigeria, and you are not ready to relocate to Nigeria, where the president is fixing. You are a disgrace. You see, it is beginning to seem like a lot of us here abroad don't have sense. You are in Canada, where your children will safely go to school and safely come back home to you, while people's children were kidnapped in Oyo, and as we speak, are still in the kidnappers' den. We don't even know if they are still alive. You are in Canada praising a government that is failing Nigerians. You are in Canada enjoying basic amenities provided by the Canadian.
Guys, let me just comment here. The reason why this one is so important is that people are living in Canada and they are erecting Tinubu's billboard in Canada. I think one of my sisters, she lives in Canada and she has not verified this. We'll probably wait for them to verify. But you know, Canada is one of the countries where you have the most snow that falls in the world. And they have technology, they have system that clears their snow. I mean, I'm speaking from Texas. Canada is not far from me. But they have the best of technology to clear their snow once they have snow in Canada. And people are in Canada erecting billboard that Tinubu is fixing Nigeria and they cannot go and live in Nigeria. Listen some more.
Young government. You are in Canada enjoying stable electricity. You are in Canada enjoying uninterrupted education, both for you and your children. You are in Canada enjoying good health care. You are in Canada having a good time, enjoying life, while you are there clapping for the same government that has failed to provide what you are enjoying in Canada to Nigerian citizens. Some of you for this abroad not get sense. If, just like you people have said in this very signpost, President Tinubu is really fixing Nigeria, it's true, why not just relocate back home now that they are fixing the country? For the very first time in Nigeria's history, we have over 114 million Nigerians living in poverty. Then you are there in Canada, praising a failed government. I have been told now that whenever you come online talking against the government of Nigeria, they go after people. Me, I know the fear. Like my father would say, truth, not the fear to talk. Now, I want to talk truth, the fear. I know the fear. A lot of Nigerians cannot even afford one meal a day in their own country. A lot of Nigerians abroad have more rights in foreign countries than they do in their homeland.
Ìdí ayọ̀ kó jọ nítorí ọlọ́wọ́ bí ọmọlàwọ̀ náà kó ṣàánú wa ẹni lọ́bí sáwọn mẹ́nu pọ̀lọpọ̀lọpọ̀ wá fi jíṣẹ́ kíjọba torí ọlọ́ká gbà wá kó ṣàánú wa kó bá wa dá sí ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ yìí o ohun tó fi jáde gẹ́gẹ́ bí olùkọ́ ní kíjọba gbà wá kó ṣe.
Here's a Yoruba woman crying in Oyo State that the government should save them. They cannot go to school, they cannot go to work, they cannot do anything because of the kidnapping.
Bí agbára mọ́ gbogbo ìgbà ilé wa kò sí èèbò kankan níbẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ wa kan wà ń bẹ ni àwọn ọmọ wo save àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wa náà kò sí ètò ààbò kankan fún níbẹ̀ abẹ́ ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ Olúṣèyí ọmọ Mákindé tó ti ń ṣe dáadáa ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ that's mọ̀ pé yóò tún máa ṣe dáadáa lọ.
Now you are calling Seyi Makinde and you are saying that he has done good things in Oyo State. What has he done in Oyo State? Because I'm from Oyo State and I've not seen anything that Seyi Makinde has done in Oyo State. So you are on one side calling for their help and on another side trying to praise them. No, you cannot praise them. These guys are failure. Sheyi Makinde is a failure. Here's a failed governor. Sheyi Makinde is a failure. So, madam, you saying that Sheyi Makinde he has done some.
Gbogbo tó bá lè lò láti ràn wá lọ́wọ́ láti gba àwọn olùkọ́ wa àti àwọn ọmọ akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wa jáde láàyè kí wọ́n bá wa lò kí wọ́n gbà wá alágbára kankan kí wọ́n gbà wá kí wọ́n jọ̀wọ́ abẹ̀ wọn ni ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ̀yin akọ̀ròyìn wa náà ẹ bá wa sọ fún wọn kí wọ́n jọ̀wọ́ kí wọ́n gbà wá alágbára kankan lẹ́yìn wọn inú gbọ́dọ̀.
Sorry guys, I have to pause that video there just to bring in the Olubad of Ibadan. This is the Olubad of Ibadan, the current one. Oba Rashid Ladoja. He was a former governor for your state. Former governor for your state. I mean, he's been governor before. And now he's the Olubadan of Ibadan. That, it's like sometimes when we say this, people don't really know the magnitude of this position that they carry. It's like talking about talking about the Oba of Benin. It's like talking about the Oba of Benin. And up until now, I've not had anything from the Olubadan of Ibadan. Up until now, this man, I have not seen a video. I have not had a recording. I have not seen anything about where he said anything about this kidnap. And I will continue to call him out as much as I have the breath. And as much as this case, as they have failed to bring back these children to their families, Rashid Lada, you will continue to hear your name from my mouth because you guys are just evil. You guys are evil. You guys are evil. You guys are evil and should never be allowed to be a leader in the first place.
Àwa náà báyà sèèbù ilé alákàwé wa ẹ̀rù ń bà wá láti lọ síbẹ̀ òun la ṣe wá sí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ní secretariat pé kí wọ́n gbà wá láti bá wa release àwọn ọmọ wa tí wọ́n kó nǹkan tá a fi wà níbí lónìí ni.
Tọ́jú ìyá yín kì í fún ìyá yín lára wá sí tí kì í rántí ìyá yín rárá torí mi ò mọ tí ìyá rẹ̀ at 70 years old tó ń ṣe lẹ́yìn àwọn oníkàǹpé tájọ́ rìn káàkiri inú oòrùn nítorí ráìsì abọ́ kan. Ṣé tó bá jí yẹ gbé lẹ́yìn wọn òkú màálù ni o torí láti gbàtọ́ tí ń jíyàn gbé ní.
Now here's another Yoruba person speaking, and what he's basically saying is the fact that people don't take care of their parents, and that's why you see 70 years old woman, 70 years old man following after these politicians, all because of what? One plate of rice. I mean, I saw somewhere in Ondo State where a rep member went to give people cheek was what he gave them. Was what he gave them as their own empowerment program. Listen some more.
Bá ti ń pààyàn sí ibà ẹ̀mí olóṣèlú gbọ́ pé olóṣèlú kan ó kówó lẹ̀ fún èèyàn kan láti lọ gbàálẹ̀. Ẹ̀mí olóṣèlú gbọ́ pé olóṣèlú kan kówó lẹ̀ fún aráàlú tán jí gbé láti lọ rescue ẹ̀. Ṣé o ti gbọ́ rí tí o bá ti ń ṣe family wọn náà jí gbé wọn ní wọn kọ̀bọ̀ tán máa dálẹ̀ tán máa fún wọn. Sọ fún yẹ kó fìdí mọ́lé kó dúró sílé. Bó campaign tán ṣe káàkiri tán tẹ̀lé ra wọn káàkiri ẹgbẹ́ ẹgbó yẹn tán bá jí yẹ ẹgbẹ́ òkú màálù ni o. Ẹ bá ìyá yín sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ̀gbọ́n ìyá yín sọ̀rọ̀. Àtẹ́pọ̀ ló bú ọmọ náà ló púpọ̀ nù yín. Ìtàlẹ̀ ń ṣe sí ẹ̀ ṣe sílé ẹ̀yin aláyé bàjẹ́.
A new video that the bandits released of the students and the teachers kidnapped in Oyo State, and I've watched it. I'm just okay, guys. Honestly, I don't understand. Where is our outrage? If they kill these people now, everybody will now get on social media. Everybody will be talking. This is when we need you to be outraged, because this is when it can actually make a difference. Don't wait for them to get killed. Of course, we know that so many people did not care when it was happening in the north. Now that it's at your doorstep, this can be anybody. This can be anybody's relative. Where are the Yoruba elites? Is it just politics that you can talk about? This is real life issue. Death and life issue. Where are the Yoruba kings, the Obas? Where is the Oni of Ife? Where are the kings in Lagos? Where are the Yoruba celebrities? Some of you have started speaking up, but so many of you are still not saying anything. And by the way, where are the Yoruba pastors? The celebrity Yoruba pastors. Even if you did not care all this, well, this is a Christian school. This is a church school now, Baptist nursery and primary school. Haba, does it really have to happen to somebody that you know before you would care? But even the Bible says to speak out for those who cannot speak for themselves. These are their church members that are being kidnapped. These are your church members. We are not outraged. We are not outraged. Right now, all these people know is the election. That is all that they are focusing on. They don't care. We are the ones that have to make them care. Where is your outrage?
Maybe I'll play that video once again for just maybe it can stick, because one of my sister was speaking on Nigeria Watch yesterday, Madam Rita, and the same question that Adiola is asking, the same question she's asking now. Same question. I don't think she missed anything. Same question is what Madam Rita was asking yesterday on Nigeria Watch Media. Maybe I'll just play this video once again and then so that I can stick to Nigerians. Where is your outrage? Well, Adiola, for them to be outraged, they went to Ojude Oba. But I call that Ojude Ka. That celebration that was done this year at the Ojude Oba, I call it Ojude Ka. Because if you guys are not wicked, in fact, as a matter of fact, the Salah celebration, the Children's Day, and the Ojude Oba, those celebrations should have just been, just go like silent. There shouldn't be any Ojude Oba. There shouldn't be any Children's Day. As a matter of fact, Salah, just go pray, go back home. If you can eat, eat. If you cannot eat, just go and sleep. But because because we lack empathy, 46 children are in the kidnappers' den. Keg being burnt, and they put they put the flame on the children. We are not enraged. We are not enraged.
Guys, have you seen the new video that the bandits released of the students and the teachers kidnapped in Oyo State? I've watched it. I'm just okay. Guys, honestly, I don't understand. Where is our outrage? If they kill these people now, everybody will now get on social media. Everybody will be talking. This is when we need you to be outraged, because this is when it can actually make a difference. Don't wait for them to get killed. Of course, we know that so many people did not care when it was happening in the north. Now that it's at your doorstep, this can be anybody. This can be anybody's relative. Where are the Yoruba elites? Is it just politics that you can talk about? This is real life issue, death and life issue. Where are the Yoruba kings, the Obas? Where is the Oni of Ife?
This is what Adiola is asking for, Oni of Ife. I think somebody also said on Nigeria Watch Media that if you are having party, just send an invitation to Oni of Ife. He will come and he will be there. Oba Adeyeye, Enitan, Ogunwusi. If this is how our forefathers did the throne when they were there, I wonder what will happen. The likes of Sunday Igboho, Ole, Afofungbemu. You said to Buhari that you wanted Yoruba nation. And today, the criminal drug baron is using you against your own people. Sunday Igboho, where are you? This is the Oni of Ife, Adiola. This is the person you're asking for. I have not seen a video from this Oni of Ife. Not one video. I have not seen any video from him ever since this incident happened. I have not seen a video from Oni of Ife. I have not had any word, no press release from Oni of Ife. So that is him, Adiola.
Where are the kings in Lagos? Haba, Hederuolong. Where are the Yoruba celebrities? Some of you have started speaking up, but so many of you are still not saying anything. And by the way, where are the Yoruba pastors? The celebrity Yoruba pastors? Even if you did not care all this while, this is a Christian school. This is a church school now. Baptist nursery and primary school. Haba. Does it really have to happen to somebody that you know before you would care? But even the Bible says to speak out for those who cannot speak for themselves. These are their church members that are being kidnapped. These are your church members. We are not outraged. We are not outraged. Right now, all these people know is the election. That is all that they are focusing on. They don't care. We are the ones that have to make them care. Where is your outrage?
Where's your outrage? Where's your outrage, my people? Where's your outrage? These guys don't care. All they care about is the election. No wonder Seyi Makinde will tell you that they bought a they bought a surveillance plane, not fighter now, that they bought surveillance plane, and those surveillance plane will not be ready until sometimes in June. The surveillance plane that was bought will not be ready until sometimes in June. This is so sad. It is so painful, and I hope that we can get things right. So Nigerians, come out, speak some more. We need to speak. We need to talk. We cannot just afford to keep quiet. We cannot afford to keep silent. These guys are destroying the country. They are destroying our people. So, I mean, in closing, I'll just continue to play the NDC primaries that we saw yesterday. Maybe we can just we can play some more from the NDC primaries, because I mean, honestly, that primaries was interesting. The NDC primaries was a wonderful primaries that honestly Nigerians should rejoice. Nigerians should be happy that we have somebody that can stand, somebody that can honestly go outside the box. Mr. Peter Obi is a voice. Mr. Peter Obi is honestly a voice. And I encourage Nigerians, please, whatever you do, make sure that you support Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. Mr. Peter Obi is a voice. Mr. Peter Obi is a man of process. I mean, he told us in the last election, you cannot jump the gate. You cannot jump the window, come into the house and start cleaning the room. No. Said, I believe in the process. And that's what we all should do. And now you can now see that him asking them to make sure that the primaries are free and fair is a just call. Is a just call. He wanted the primaries to be free and fair. It's a just call. So I think it's ideal that we all will speak. But let me bring this video here. It's just a comparison of the of what happened at the Ogidioba. Let's see this. Let me bring this here for you guys to see what happened. Let me just bring this here one moment.
We are pleading on to our governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde. Please help us negotiate with these people. Whatever they want, please give unto them. Please help us save our life. Please, we are all here, all we the teachers and the children. Please, we need your help. President Tinubu, please negotiate with these people. Please help us. Whatever they want, please give to them. Please help us save our life. Today again is Children's Day. About 14 days now, we are here in the bush. Please help us. Help us. We are calling on to the Obas. Ẹ dákun ẹ ṣàánú wa, ẹ ràn wá lọ́wọ́. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọba, ẹ dákun ẹ bá wa dá sí i. Ẹ ṣàánú wa, ẹ ràn wá lọ́wọ́. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn ẹ ṣàánú wa. Ẹ dákun ẹ bá wa báwọn ìjọba wa sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ dákun gbogbo tí wọ́n bá fẹ́, ẹ dákun ẹ bá wa ṣe fún wọn kí wọ́n má bàa pa wá dànù. Ẹ dákun ẹ ṣàánú wa, gbogbo tí wọ́n bá béèrè, ẹ dákun ẹ bá wa ṣe fún wọn. Ẹ bá wa ṣe fún wọn. Kẹ́mi wá bọ́ sófo. ìjọ àìní lábẹ́rẹ́ fún please be merciful to us ẹ ṣàánú fún wa please ẹ jọ̀ọ́ please good morning today is the 27th.
That's where we are now. This is what is happening in our country. People are being killed, people are being destroyed, and you see these people they still go about with their lives, and they continue to do their thing, and you ask yourself questions on. I mean, I think this is Ambode, if I'm correct. I think that's. Well, I'm not sure who that is, but this is the people that you see that people will still line behind, they still support them. While you have your own people in the kidnappers, then you still see these guys. They went ahead and celebrate the Odidioba. I'm actually playing this from Twitter, and it's just painful, and it is so sad that we can see this. But let's see the NDC primaries again from the various states. Just a moment, guys. This is the NDC primaries. This is the NDC primaries. And this happened in Kano State. Now, this is just organic love. This is the organic love that you can see between Mr. Peter Obi and the Kwankwasia. It's just interesting to see this. Well, guys, thank you. I mean, it's just interesting to see all of this happening with the NDC. Honestly, for me, I am very, very excited that this is happening with NDC. I am so excited, and I just hope that we have a better country. If during the election or the election day, everybody come out like this en masse, you stand at your polling unit, ensure that these criminals don't rig the election. I mean, I honestly appreciate a gentleman's voice. Maybe I can bring his video here again, and I think that's the spirit that every Nigerian should have. Let's see this video.
director NHM, I don't know your name, whether I make Petwa, whether I make Peway to know, whether I pay Metewe. Me, I don't know your name, you no concern me. 2027, we need free and fair election. You service corps when they say no go the tell us say carry that is not working. You go collect. Just write your will keep. You understand? But just write your will keep. You collection officer, you returning officer, won't go do anyhow. Your mind go day. Don't write in a will 2027 keep because of now. After the election, now the last day to see this life because the masses are very angry. You understand? Ba? So 2077, we need a joke. You want you don't give it back or right, city boy movement, you don't give it back or right 5 times to conquer ballot box. Just write your will keep. 2077, we need to come to joke. We are coming for free and fair election. You know what free and fair election? Your mind go day. Go ask the man mount. The mass is mount for you. Ask what happened to Cubana chief prisoner. After he spent all the money we're in there today, it's still fair. It's not about
in power. Tinubu has failed in health. Tinubu has failed in education. Please do not mention Nelfund because Nelfund simply means you're making your citizens poor and then you're telling them to borrow from you so they can pay for the education that they cannot afford, that is even poor in the first place. Tinubu has failed in agriculture. There is food insecurity. There is not even food in the first place. Tinubu has failed in defense. Defense is underfunded and our soldiers keep complaining and keep getting shot for complaining that they cannot feed properly and they don't even have the tools, the weaponry to fight banditry effectively. Then let's go to empathy. Tinubu lacks empathy so much. You can see this in many cases. He went to, in quotes, console a widow who lost her son in terrorist attacks. And what did he say? He said, there is no light at the airport. I have to go very quick. He said this in a very emotionless way. This shows that the person you keep defending is allegedly a very demonic person. Yes. I'll have to go to the fact that Tinubu is a very compromised and incompetent person. I love the fact that you follow your principal to his words. So now, please hold him to his words. He said that if I do not provide you with constant electricity, in the next elections, do not vote me. Vote me out.
I guess he's not the leader that ever promised you.
No, I came here to
I guess he's not the leader that ever said that.
I came here to debate
humans are making mistakes.
I came here to debate Tinubu. Tinubu has failed on his promise. He has gone back on his promise. He lacks empathy. He has failed to provide power.
See, anybody that supports Tinubu wants to just open their mouth like, wow, it's nonsense that is to come like, you cannot even understand what they are saying. Humans, he is not the only one that makes mistake. Humans also make mistake. What do you want to say? What exactly do you want to defend?
Now, 3 years into the administration of President Bola Tinubu, the battle over Nigeria's reality has become a battle over competing narratives. The presidency says the reforms are working, pointing to a stabilizing exchange rate, rising state revenues, a booming stock market, expanding infrastructure projects, student loans through NEL Fund, and renewed investment confidence.
Oga Charles, before you walk out too far, make I just tell you, one gentleman just say that NEL Fund now na scam, na lie. And before this young man even spoke on Nigeria Watch Media, Mr. Jonathan, my elder brother, has already given us analysis of how that NEL Fund is a fraud. So, well, Mr. Charles, I respect you. I respect you so much. But don't read for us what we already know. Tinubu is a scam. Thank you, sir.
Reflected in positive ratings from agencies like Fitch, Moody's, and S&P. But the opposition says economic indicators mean little if ordinary Nigerians cannot feel relief in their daily lives. Across the country, millions are still battling rising food prices, deepening poverty, and worsening insecurity. So tonight, as President Tinubu marks the 3rd anniversary of his administration, are Nigerians truly beginning to see the dividends of reform, or is the government winning the statistics war whilst losing the human reality on the ground? And to help us assess all this, I'm joined now by 3 of Nigeria's top-notch political analysts. the Professor of Political Science, Senior Fellow at the Center for Democracy and Development, and Chair of the Board of Premium Times newspaper, Professor Jibrin Ibrahim, the author, international media scholar, newspaper columnist, blogger, and activist, Professor Farouk Perogi, and from our studios in Lagos, the Executive Director of Development Specs Academy, member of the editorial board of This Day newspaper, and Professor of Strategic Management and Human Capital Development, Professor Oke Ikechukwu. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening. We're truly honored to have the three of you on the same platform at the same time tonight. Let me start with you, Professor Ibrahim. As he marks 3 years in office, President Tinubu says the fundamentals are improving. The exchange rate has stabilized, foreign reserves have strengthened, the stock market is booming, and rating agencies like S&P, Fitch, and Moody's have upgraded Nigeria's outlook. But many Nigerians say life has never been harder. So which reality should matter more politically? The macroeconomic numbers or the lived experience of millions of ordinary Nigerians?
My feeling has always been that great narratives about achievements that do not translate into improved conditions of living remain what they are, narratives that do not mean much to the people of the country. If in a 4-year tenure, after 3 years, you are saying the indicators are positive, even if lived reality is one of misery and suffering, then you have lost the argument. I don't find it convincing at this stage, having gone through 3/4 of the tenure, to make the case that foreign observers, some foreign observers, are telling you you are doing well. My sense of democracy is that it's your citizens who tell you whether their lives are improving. And any ability to listen to what Nigerians are saying would be very clear in its verdict that the life they experience for the majority of them is one of misery and suffering. But it's not only that they live a life of misery and suffering, but they see the other side, the tiny minority in power, live a life of opulence, self-aggrandizement, and an attitude to accumulation that's completely self-serving. That, for me, cannot be a positive sign.
Well, thank you for that opening salvo. Let me come to you, Professor Perogi. Really nice to have you here. Has this administration genuinely laid the foundation for long-term recovery, or are Nigerians simply being asked to endure pain today on the promise of prosperity tomorrow?
Well, before now, I wrote several articles and, in fact, anticipated the rhetoric that the government is using right now to justify its economic policies. Exactly a week before Tinubu took over, I wrote a column where I prognosticated that the policies he promised to implement upon election would inflict enormous existential torment on our people. And I said, we're going to be confronted with rhetoric of growth. And I recall playing on my word play that if the economy grows, but the people groan, where is the logic? Where is the profit in that? I even used the biblical expression, what does it profit a nation to have an economy that grows, but then the people groan? And that's precisely what is happening here. And I did not have any foresight. I did not have any oracular powers to predict what was going to happen. I merely depended on what happened during IBB's regime. That was the time I came of age. A lot of the promises that the honchos of the IBB administration made about to justify the SAP program, which was roundly
That's
condemned.
the structural adjustment.
Structural adjustment program is exactly the rhetoric that the Tinubu administration is using. This idea that you should endure temporary pain for a deferred permanent gain. It never happened. But what happened was that some of our best brains were sent out of the country. And Professor Jibo here has, written a lot of articles about how our identities, popular identities, were composed, recomposed, reconfigured, and our national identity itself and architecture was disrupted almost irrecoverably because of these policies. So what I'm seeing right now is deja vu for me. These are things that I had experienced. And of course, I have studied and related with a lot of people in South America. And exactly the things that Tinubu is implementing that he calls economic reforms are the things that were implemented in South America. And people are way poorer for it. I have friends in Argentina and they're going, that's probably the only country in the world that I know of that is going through worse economic crisis than we are. And they're implementing the exact same policies. So it's very obvious where this is going to head. And the assurances they are giving, there's nowhere on the surface of this earth that I have studied where economic policies such as the ones Tinubu is implementing lead to any kind of measurable improvement in the lives of the people.
Okay, well, thanks for that. Let me come to you, Professor Ikechukwu. Thank you very much indeed for your patience and for joining us from our studios in Lagos, where we usually have you here in Abuja. So it's a bit of a different way of sort of talking with you on the line there from Lagos. But at least you're with us, and we're grateful for that. I wonder what your thoughts are on this third sort of anniversary of the Tinubu administration, because, I mean, let's face it, the Nigerian economy, his supporters would say, was begging for reforms. It doesn't matter who the president was, reforms would have had to be made or put in place. I mean, the president points to infrastructure spending, agricultural interventions, and the student loan scheme through the Nigerian Education Loan Fund as evidence that reforms are beginning to touch lives. I mean, are these transformative policies in your assessment, or are they still too limited to offset the scale of economic hardship?
Well, I would say that the NEL Fund is a very good idea. It's working. People can point to it and identify beneficiaries. But beyond that, I will stick to the truth. And that truth is that I will take the exact opposite position of the president. He was quoted to have said that all the fundamentals are now in place. I will say that the fundamentals have never been more skewed. And I'll tell you why. The fundamentals include security. Are we more secure today than we were in 2023? The answer is no, with all due respect to those who differ. Is inflation worse? Yes. Is the value of the naira gone through the heavens and is heading to hell? The answer is yes. And of course, there's a reference to Southern Poor's and the Fitch ratings. These are international organizations that have been known to rate nations and the economy and performance of nations. But without prejudice to the reputation of these two organizations, I have very little respect for them, and I will also tell you why. Go and check the companies that Southern Poor's and Fitch Ratings in particular rated very highly before, I think, the 1989 meltdown. Nobody, these two organizations did not see it coming at all. And recall that, I think, when Okonjo-Iweala was still here, there was a time their rating changed within 3 weeks after a conversation. Now, you can have all the ratings you want in this world. The simple question to ask, and that applies to every one of us here and whoever is watching. Your cousins in the village, are they faring better?
The president, all the ministers, all the heads of MDAs in the country are from villages. Nobody is from a town. How are the people faring? How much are they spending now? What's their income looking like? What are they spending on transport? Is it commensurate with their income? Those are the questions to ask. So self-adulation becomes almost offensive when it's running clearly counterfactually to everything you're seeing around you. Fitch ratings, are they Nigerian citizens? Are they the views to take seriously? Why is it that fluctuations in petrol will reflect here? And we pay more all the time, and those who are paying on the same income. So, but these facts are the realities. You can't separate it from the fact that the government has good intentions, had good intentions, couldn't have put these things in place in order to make Nigerians suffer. But the truth is, Nigerians are suffering. To now announce your intention without looking at impact on citizen welfare is a different matter. The whole point of expenditure is honest conversation to begin with. And I personally have an issue with many of those who communicate to government. What's going on? Music is taking over my audio.
There's certainly no music here. We can hear you loud and clear, but let me give them a little time to fiddle with your comms there.
Affected by what is going on.
Are you able to hear me still?
I'm getting a lot of interference on my audio.
Okay, well, let them sort it out in Lagos there whilst we continue in the studio here, and we'll return to you imminently, Professor Ikechukwu. Thank you for your comments there. Let me turn to you, Professor Ibrahim. A lot of comments have been made so far, but I mean, 3 years in, what would you identify, if at all, as the administration's single biggest achievement and its single biggest failure?
Now you're asking me a tough question. Biggest achievement.
Well, that's why you're a professor.
It's a tough question because the biggest achievement that have been pointed out is increased revenue. But when you talk to people in the ministries, all of them say they are getting only 5%, maximum 10% of their budgets. So when government says its fiscal policies have now raised the levels of revenue massively, and you said, oh, that's excellent. So that means government ministries, departments, and agencies will have more money to produce public goods. And as many ministers have confessed in public, the reality is they are getting less than 10% of their capital budgets, which means the increased revenue has no basis in reality. And that, in my assessment, is what this government says is its biggest achievement. In terms of the general performance, I feel strongly that the level of insecurity that has been rising since the president came into power has been the biggest problem for the people of this country. The fact that banditry is increasing, kidnapping for ransom is increasing, the killing of peasants on their farms is increasing. Movement along our roads remains a very risky affair. All this point to the fact that this basic issue that every state is supposed to guarantee, the security of lives and properties of citizens, is not at all guaranteed in this country. It is really problematic that at the policy front, what we hear government say, since his first year in office, President Tinubu has been talking of, we'll have state police and that will solve the security of the country. 3 years later, he's saying what he said in the first year, we will have state police. So when are you going to have state police when you have done 2/3 of your tenure already and you haven't 3/4 of your tenure, and you haven't done what you said you will do. I'm not saying state police is the answer, but it's just to point at this terrible confusion at the level of policy of making claims that are not borne out in reality,
right,
making promises that are not fulfilled. And all this is a real problem for a government that wants to be taken seriously by citizens.
Well, thanks for that assessment. I'm going to return to the issue of insecurity, because obviously that's a big problem in this country. I'm going to return to that in a moment. But Professor Perogi, the government, just coming off the back of what Professor Ibrahim was saying there about increased revenue, the government argues that governors now have far more money because of subsidy removal and increased federation allocations. But, I mean, people are still asking, where is the impact? Is this now becoming a crisis of governance at both federal and state levels?
Yeah, that is one of the most bizarre justifications for removing fuel subsidies that I have ever encountered. And I have pointed that out in several columns. For instance, Business Day, some time ago, I don't recall what day it was that they published this, said that governors have way more money than they need. And what do they do with the money? They convert the money into dollars and put pressure on the dollars. That was the time when the Naira was sliding against the dollar precipitously. But these increased revenues to the governors merely made them bigger, more imperious rulers of their states. It has not translated into substantive development. It has been built. It has not led to infrastructural renewal in the states. It hasn't led to more schools being built. It hasn't led to increase in the salaries of workers.
Well, in fairness to them, I don't mean to interrupt you, they fill the airwaves every day with new roads being commissioned and, hospitals and buildings and things, schools being built. I mean, I don't know how widespread those things are vis-a-vis the population of their states, but certainly we do see, even if it's just the optics, we do see some things taking place that suggest some kind of infrastructure development.
I take that. However, even before the increase in revenues that they are celebrating, that has always happened. All the years that I have lived in Nigeria, state governors have always done some symbolic infrastructural programs. But for me to be convinced that the removal of fuel subsidies has led to more money in the hands of governors and therefore more development, I want to see a dramatically exponential increase in the infrastructure development. But I don't see that. And although I don't live in Nigeria, I interact with Nigerians on a daily basis and I have asked questions, and I don't see any increase in the magnitude of expenditures. In fact, I have been told that there are states that are still not paying the minimum wage. And that's a scandal. If the government brags about increasing the revenues of governors, and there are still states in the federation that do not pay the minimum wage, that's a scandal of monumental proportion that should inspire people to go out in the streets of protest.
Well, that's a good point, certainly in the observations that you have made. But let me return to you in Lagos, Professor Okeke-Chukwu. I hope your comms are now sort of back to normal. Let's turn to the nettlesome issue of insecurity that Professor Ibrahim was speaking quite fervently about a hot second ago. The administration insists progress is being made. In fact, I was watching the Minister of Defense this morning on the morning show on Arise News, and he was saying that about in terms of tackling the problem of insecurity. But from Benue to Zamfara to parts of the Northeast, many communities, let's face it, still feel abandoned. Has the government lost the narrative battle on security, or are you impressed with what is going on?
Quite frankly, I don't think the government has any narrative at all. This government, this is the third year. We ask ourselves, how much of the budget for 2024 was expended, released? How much for 25? And this is 26. We are halfway through the year, and you're telling us you've dealt with 70% of the problem, whereas the Army has only got 7% of its allocations. I think the Navy Exit Air Force has got 13% for maintenance. We are just kidding ourselves. Coming to speak is one thing. The reality on the table is another. Just for the last week, take all the media and check the reported cases of kidnapping for 1 week. Kidnapping, insurgency attacks all over the Federation. The dismay is that if you take that record for this week alone, and that ended, and you compare it with the record for 2 years, about 2012, the one of that last 1 week beats it hands down. So if in the midst of that we have security, it must be a kind of a new type of security, the improvement. That's number one. Number two, state police, I'm glad it was mentioned. Where is it? Number three, we are seeing a tradition of, promises. Remember that following the probably precipitate announcement of withdrawal of fuel subsidy, we were told CNG will come on stream. It is still going to come on stream because the stream was waiting for rain to fall so that there will be drought for the boat. Those are the issues. So, and that gives me even greater concern at the level of official public communication. Anybody in government listening to this will probably get angry. You see, we're doing a lot, they're not appreciating it. You have no position. The observer has a right to a point of view. And the Nigerians you're talking about, you can't tell me whether my roof is leaking. I would know when I come out all soaked. The issue of security, where will you take it from? Just read the papers every day. Just see the effrontery of attacking military installations, in one instance with drone facilities. What does it take to produce a soldier? When you're training soldiers, you're using arms and ammunition. They are not things you replace. If you fire a bullet, you don't take it back. There has to be continuous procurement. It's not happening. They don't have the resources for hardware and even software. But beyond all of that, you look at this overall scenario. How many soldiers and officers are we producing in a year? How many are we losing? Is this affordable? In fact, I was on a program earlier in the day, and the spokesperson for Zulum spoke of, how they've resettled some communities, the IDPs are disappearing, which is a good thing, that in some states, there are only a few places where when you're going now, you need military escort. Gentlemen, we're wasting our soldiers. This is not their job. In places, take much of the Northeast, and local government chairmen don't live in those places. I get 200 plus million every month, and it impacts nobody because I'm not. How will there be a local economy? How will there be community life? So when you say more monies are going to the states, we want to see that X number of people now have a means of livelihood, their security. That's the whole point of money. Human interest communication, that because of this increase in resources, right now, this is what is happening. This place is revived. This place, former farming community, is now farming and is bringing out this quantity of rice or sugarcane or wheat, whatever. It is not happening. So a conversation, without prejudice to our sensibilities, this is what I call incestuous communication, where the speaker is his own audience. And they will not have their heads and shake each other. As I said earlier, step out of your official car and the siren, go to your own village. Look at your extended family, look at the wider community, watch the people trembling in the hope you'll drop a dime for them to fight over. Watch traditional rulers given titles to non-rogues, church leaders making them knights. That's the kind of society. And you look at even what's happening in the government itself. Look at the primaries, and not just about APC, all of them. Do you see internal party democracy?
Come to that.
I cannot be delusional on a matter on which the facts are staring me in the face.
That's what we're going to come to next.
I disagree completely on that assessment.
Okay, well, listen, thank you very much indeed for that, but stay with us because you raised the issue of politics, the primaries, the presidential candidates that are starting to emerge, and that's going to be our next topic. when we come back from the break. You're watching Arise Prime Time. Plenty more still ahead as we continue our assessment of the week that was. Stay with us. Welcome back to Arise Prime Time, where we offer perspectives on the news and talking points of the day. I'm Charles Aniegolu. Now, the political battlefield for 2027 is rapidly coming into focus. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has emerged as the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, while former Governor Peter Obi is being ratified as the candidate of the Nigerian Democratic Congress. If the alignments hold, Nigeria could be heading towards a dramatic three-way rematch of the 2023 presidential contest. But the political equations are far more complicated this time. President Tinubu carries the enormous advantage of incumbency, but also the heavy burden of public frustration over hardship and insecurity. Atiku Abubakar is calling for a united opposition front, but can he truly rally competing interests behind him? And can Peter Obi once again galvanize the youth-driven movement that shook the political establishment 3 years ago? Add to this the growing unease inside the APC, including the defection of Ovie Omo Agege and the warning from former Ekiti Governor Kayode Fayemi that the ruling party risks implosion, and the road to 2027 is already looking turbulent. Well, still with me as we attempt to read the political tea leaves are the Professor of Political Science, Senior Fellow at the Center for Democracy and Development and Chair of the Board of Premium Times newspaper, Professor Jibrin Ibrahim, the author, international media scholar, newspaper columnist, blogger and activist, Professor Farouk Berogi, and from our studios in Lagos, the Executive Director of Development Specs Academy, member of the editorial board of This Day newspaper, and Professor of Strategic Management and Human Capital Development, Professor Oke Ikechukwu. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for staying with us. Let me start this round the way that we started at the outset with Professor Ibrahim, with Atiku Abubakar emerging as the ADC candidate and Peter Obi in the process of being ratified by the NDC. Are we essentially heading towards a replay of the 2023 three-way contest, only this time with even higher stakes?
Yes, indeed. It's very clear that there is going to be a similar election, but the dynamics have shifted considerably, and the outcomes may not be as clear as they were in 2023. The first issue was that Tinubu was coming in on the basis of a broad alliance that enabled him to carry significant votes from the north on the basis of what came to be known as a Muslim-Muslim ticket. That Muslim-Muslim ticket has turned out to be quite a problem for him because people don't see what that means anymore. And increasingly, the reality the president is facing is that support he enjoyed at 2023 has reduced considerably due directly to his policies. The president, of course, has responded by cajoling, bribing, begging, forcing governors to join his party, and now has 31 of the 36 governors on his side. The question is, there's an assumption, to use Nigerian language, that these governors will be able to deliver their states. What analysis at the state level is showing, however, is that most of these governors will not be able to deliver their states because there is very strong opposition to the president's policies and practices within those states. And what's happening is a strong divide between the governors that are aligning with him and their own citizens. Atiku is, of course, coming in for his umpteenth attempt. I don't think any Nigerian has tried so many times to be president as him, and in a sense, this is the last chance. The question for him is whether he'll be able to generate slightly more support than he did the last time. Would he benefit from the fact that the president is facing challenges at this time?
Well, let me pick up on the back of what you said there, Professor Ibrahim, and come to you, Professor Perogi. Atiku says this will likely be his final presidential run. Does that make him more dangerous politically because he has nothing left to lose, or more vulnerable because Nigerians may see him as yesterday's candidate?
Well, I would say it will certainly make him more desperate, because he's going to be 80 if he's not already 80. And by 2031, when the next election cycle starts, he's unlikely to be strong enough to stand for election. So I sense that he's going to give his all to this. Unfortunately, this is happening at a time of recognizably diminished Southern support. You have to give it to Atiku that historically, he's been one of the Northern candidates with the most Southern support. In 2019, for instance, he was massively voted by the South. He also seems to enjoy the confidence of Northern Christians in more ways than his contemporaries in the Muslim North do. However, his biggest Achilles heel is going to be the prevailing sentiment in the South that he hasn't sufficiently sacrificed or requited the love that Southerners have given him over the years. For a lot of Southerners that I have interacted with, they think this is the moment where he should have stayed back from contest and endorsed a popular Southern candidate as a reward or as a compensation for all the support he has been given. So there's a sense of boiling rage that I can sense among Southerners. And I told someone recently that I'll be shocked if he gets more than 15% of Southern votes, which would mean that he's unlikely to get the spread that is constitutionally required of candidates before they win an election. It appears for now that he's going to dominate the Northern sphere because there's no Northerner who is running for president right now. And given what I have called the emotional cartography of Nigeria, the emotional maps, I would say that he is going to be the center of emotional affiliation for a lot of Northern voters who first are angry with what seems like the exclusion of the North in the Tinubu administration. I call that the baffling exclusion strategy of Tinubu. And there's a growing sense that he's ridding himself, he's purging himself of even the last vestiges of Northern influence in his government. If Atiku expertly instrumentalizes and weaponizes it, he is likely going to get a lot of Northern voters. But that would not be sufficient to make him president if the countervailing sentiment in the South that he is the biggest stumbling block to, let me be very specific, an Igbo presidency, because he has gotten a lot of his support from the Igbo part of Southern Nigeria in more ways than any Northern candidate since 1999. So that's the problem that I foresee him encountering in this election, which would be an advantage to Bola Tinubu. Unfortunately, when elections take place, people do not always vote on the basis of what I like to call objective factors, borrowing on Marxist phraseology.
Right.
But there are also subjective factors that cause people to vote against their interests. There's a famous book, What's the Matter with Kansas, by political scientists in the United States who talked about how red states vote against candidates that have programs that are designed to solve their problems. They would rather vote for someone who identifies with their values, with their politics, with their emotions. And so that might be a factor in this election. Of course, in addition to the fact that people are so poor now that they are vulnerable to financial manipulation.
Okay. Well, that's a very interesting analysis. And let me come to you, Professor Oke Ikechukwu in Lagos. Thank you for staying with us. And Peter Obi, we've talked about Atiku, we've talked about the President, Tinubu, but Peter Obi still commands intense support among sort of young urban voters. But critics say enthusiasm on social media must now translate into deeper national structures. Has Obi strengthened politically since 2023 or plateaued?
Well, let's look at the variables on the table. 2023 was driven by a lot of enthusiasm. And if you look around, you will discover that in substantive terms, a lot of people believe he won that election. But, you know, that you went to the farm and cultivated 300 hectares of yam, and then because you didn't have trucks and security, somebody else harvested the yam. You can keep talking about the yams that grew in your farm, but another person's barn is full. That is the analogy I see between him and the APC. Back then, you may recall that many of the party, those who were to represent the parties, were just left. In fact, the Labour Party had hoped to get the presidency by what I consider political burglary. Without making the appropriate investments at that lower level, you thought the enthusiasm would deliver everything. And of course, he couldn't. The others were more ruthless, more visibly political, imposed curfew by speaking of a masquerade festival in Lagos, allowed Port Harcourt to happen. Now, can that happen again? To a large extent, yes. I think that the NDC and P2B should be very careful on 3 grounds. Number one, the Southeast governors, maybe except for Alex Oti, will make sure that they give 25% to Atiku. And what he needs there is 25%, not all the votes. Number two, go and check the figures. You'll find that the Southeast is not one of those with the kind of voting population that will frighten anybody. Number three, the NDC itself. I'm impressed in the strategic move. Nobody saw it coming, but let's pay attention to details. Much of what is coming up from NDC, there's a certain casualness about it that makes me uncomfortable. If you look at many of the pictures, you see the leader of the party. In fact, the last one that was in the paper a few days ago and has been repeatedly used, he was sitting down, casually dressed, barefooted. Peter was addressing that sort of thing is not the kind of material you use for visibility. But coming around to the substantive question of the odds against the NDC, I'll look at the APC. Charles, you'll recall in the past, probably within the last 6 weeks or 2-3 months, I had mentioned the fact that the number of persons decamping into the APC will eventually become its own undoing. A man is the leader of the party in a PDP state. Then the governor with whom he had been fighting for heaven knows how long suddenly defects and becomes the leader, displacing him. He's angry. Now, many of those who were lured, deceived, or frightened or intimidated into the campaign, they cannot get their ticket. Look at your power minister, look at governor. So now a boiling rage will lead. You use the word implosion. I will look at the expression anti-party activities whereby I will remain a member of the APC, but I work for somebody from another party to take the governorship. We're all familiar with that in Anambra State, where there are really no parties. It's a question of who are we going to vote for at any time. The APC has to have somebody like Fayemi speaking the way he's doing, to have somebody like Omar Gege now relocating completely, among so many others. Look at what's his name now from Delta State, the one that got 4 votes, I think. I can't remember his name. He's a very popular senator. They placed him on the table, gave him 24 strokes of the cane, and told him not to cry. He should go inside the house. All of those are big boys who will not take it lightly. But, and here's the big but, a Tinubu as president, who could become president the way he did, who could dress up vulcanizers and present them as bishops of the Christian Association of Nigeria, who could win Lagos the way he did and Port Harcourt, and is now in power. He has the instruments of coercion, and you think that social media, dancing in the street, and talking about your goodness will give you the presidency. This is a fight that will be his last fight. He will tell himself, even if it's the last fight of my life, I will not lose this presidency. Now, that's the mindset that those hoping to displace him should be working with. Because already there's a further crisis in the opposition with Atiku coming out. Even if Atiku wins only one vote, that's one vote that will not have gone to, that will have gone to another person. Then the assumption prevailing actually, particularly in Atiku's camp, that he has the North, needs a re-evaluation. Has Atiku ever really had the North? Apart from the time he contested with Peter, when did he get so many votes in the North? And then, I'm glad you mentioned the seething rage. How could you, in a party that said it to be North and South, and then, of course, people have also gone further to profile those around Atiku from the Southeast as political never-do-wells. They don't really have any stature. You can't see them speaking openly, but you only see Atiku. So all of these variables put together, if the opposition spreads itself too thin, it will have a challenge. If the NDC imagines that it can continue with the casual thing we are seeing, let NDC articulate something everybody can see. Peter Obi is not a magic wand. We know what he can do as president, but that's only if he becomes president. He has not become president. Are they putting things in place to make that happen? It is commendable that the masterstroke of NDC was struck, but beyond that, Nigerians need to see a lot more. APC is doubly equipped. The only thing that can help the opposition is the bad blood that the current primaries have generated in APC, and also the lopsided appointments of the president, which has made the North say, no, this man is running away with everything. We'll tell our people to get rid of him. But the counter to that is that when Buhari was doing all he was doing, nobody heard from the North, except from one or two people.
Okay.
Now, Tinubu is being accused of doing the same thing, and well, maybe I rest it there so that others will come in.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And we've got a couple of minutes left before we have to go. And let me give you what would appear to be the final word, Professor Ibrahim. We heard Professor Pierogi there saying that it doesn't look as if Atiku has much support or will get the kind of spread he needs in the South. But of course, Atiku hasn't chosen a running mate yet, and he may well do that strategically, and that could make a significant difference in whatever inroad he can gain in the South. We don't know yet because we haven't seen that happen. But bearing that in mind and bearing what Professor Ikechukwu just said, looking at the map today, Professor Ibrahim, who appears better positioned to build a truly national coalition against Tinubu in 2027, Atiku or Obi?
My sense is that it's too early to make that determination. But what's clear is that the voting pattern is going to be regionalized because of the behavior of the APC president and his focus on the Southwest only. He's alienated the others. That's the sentiment Atiku is trying to benefit from by saying, look at what the president is doing. He's only interested in the Yoruba race. Therefore, let's focus on our own people. And of course, Peter Obi is prepared to see the extent to which the combination of the Southeast and South would provide that support.
Don't forget he's got Kwankwaso with him as well.
Yes, I know. That means he'll get a significant vote from Kano, but that wouldn't be significant enough to change the big numbers.
Right. Okay.
I think it's the North Central
briefly
that's going to determine the run of play, because that's where people are available, as it were, to shift between one and the other. And we have not yet seen the dynamics there to be able to make that determination.
On that note, I want to thank you gentlemen very much indeed. And just to say before we go that we did approach the presidency, given that it's 3 years of the administration, to join the panel, but nobody was available to do that. I want to thank those who managed to join me today, the Professor of Political Science, Senior Fellow at the Center for Democracy and Development, and Chair of the Board of Premium Times newspaper, Professor Jibrin Ibrahim, the author, international media scholar, newspaper columnist and activist, Professor Farouk Perogia, and from our studios in Lagos, the Executive Director of Development Specs Academy, member of the editorial board of This Day newspaper, and Professor of Strategic Management and Human Capital Development, Professor Okechukwu. Thank you very much indeed. That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again next week. From me and the entire team here in Abuja and Lagos, bye-bye and thank you for watching.
Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Honestly, we appreciate everyone that made it to our live broadcast. Continue to share our videos, like, subscribe, and then comment. We appreciate the time. Please let's not forget that the only way to get a better country is for us all to line behind Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. It's now signed, sealed, and documented that he is the presidential flag bearer of the NDC. I mean, it shows everywhere with the crowd that we see in the primaries that Nigerians are tired of Tinubu and his people. So Nigerians, let's go out there, get your PVC, let's keep supporting, let's keep encouraging Mr. Peter Obi. I don't care about any analysis that people may give. It is on ground. You saw the wave. So Nigerians are tired. Nigerians are tired and they are speaking loudly. So until we come away again the next time, please don't stop sharing, don't stop liking, don't stop commenting, and don't stop sharing and then subscribing on our videos and then our platform. We do appreciate your time. A new Nigeria is possible, and it's possible in our time. Until we come your way again, thank you. Have a wonderful evening and a blessed night, depending on the location. Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.